Sam Fox, and I'm the director of Hybrid Voices, a Perth-based hybrid arts company, and we're making the work Personal Political Physical Challenge, which will take place at PICA in July. Well, in this work, the journey we go through is pretty extreme. Like, you move from this very bizarre party environment that is really there's fancy dress, but no one knows who anyone is. So that's and it's quite extreme, and it's debaucherous, and the characters, the way we're playing with that, within characters will put each other through these kind of exercises, these transcendental dance exercises where they have to do the same thing over again, like shake for like 10 minutes. And then it completely switches, and we find ourselves in suburbia, and all of a sudden there's this despondent couple who are now trying to spice up their life, but not in it. They've gone through, they've put out their sex toys on the street with a sign saying barely used, and now they're trying to spice up their life with arts and these political radicalising exercises, which hark back to 60s films like Jean-Luc Godard's Weekend, about a couple that travels across France during a revolution to kill their parents to inherit money. So there's a lot of we're trying to make these suburban characters that could be really boring, really extreme and interesting. I think that's what is really interesting about Perth and about arts here, and being an artist in Perth, is that suburbia seems and feels really boring, but if you look closely at people's lives, there's pretty far out experience happening, and everyone has a story to tell, and a lot of it is really interesting. So that's what we kind of rip away that facade of boredom and find this really interesting couple. It uses dance, it uses theatre and design, really big installation to explore this couple, this relationship that's kind of gone cold. And the work explores the idea that relationships are kind of boring and unimportant and a bit superficial, and that and this couple wants to ignite the fire back in their relationship, so they start going on a real political tangent. They perform these extreme radical exercises in their garage. We make work that is usually a little bit, try and be a little bit provocative, challenge our audience, and in popular culture, relationships and particularly in Australian culture, Western culture, relationships are held in this really high esteem. I just find them really pathetically boring, like romance films, and the idea of you just want to find someone and then have a good life together, happily ever after. And we just kind of want to destroy that a little bit. Had the idea of going about that in a kind of interesting way, was to have this couple look to politics. And I suppose politics is where your values meet your lifestyle, like the personal is political, and that's what our work explores. So rather than the relationship is kind of an apolitical phenomena, is kind of the premise, the provocative premise that we're playing with. So the characters, what they go through, that's kind of inspired by seeing a lot of relationships fall apart on the basis of when things get really hard, your politics comes out. So I've got two kids, 7 and 5 now, and kids essentially mean stress for a while there at least. And other stresses can take the form of, an intense job or some kind of big life upheaval. So often when I've observed and other artists that are contributing to this work and observed that when a couple finds themselves in a moment of stress where up until that time their relationship has been pretty cruisy, their life has been pretty cruisy, which can be the Perth experience a little bit, and the Australian experience, all of a sudden your true true politic or how you approach life comes out. Kind of like Survivor, when they're really put under pressure, you see how people deal with stress and what their real values are, their real allegiances. So we put our characters right under stress in a similar way to that. And often you'll see couples will find out that they're not very, they don't believe in the same things at all, and they'll tear apart. And that's kind of interesting. We want our couples in our show to tear apart, but not in a mean way. But I think it's interesting to find who the characters really are.